Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Finance Agents Live. Today is Finance Agents Live number 19. I'm once again joined by Trey Sublet, President of Finance Agents. Trey, thanks for being here.
Glad to be here.
And so am I.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everybody. I hope you had a great Christmas. I hope you got what you wanted for Christmas. I know what I got was a couple extra pounds.
There we go.
Because that's how it works over the holidays. But today we're here to update you on the CredNext Challenge. For everybody who has been watching our show, you will know that we have started the CredNext Challenge. This is our 1 month update. The CredNext Challenge is us watching people go through the process of credit report correction with CredNext, reporting to you live exactly what's happening as they go through the process, so you can see how well it works or doesn't, right? I mean, this is all about experiment, fail, learn, repeat. We're hoping to skip the fail part. We're hoping we're just experimenting, learning, and repeating.
So how many people are doing this, Tim?
Well, there's a lot of people in the CredNext Challenge. I don't have the exact number, but we do have 10 people that volunteered to allow us to, me plus 9 people, that volunteered to allow us to track their credit through the process. So the updates we're going to be giving are on those 10 people, me plus 9 other brave volunteers, all named in our previous show. And so we'll be going through exactly what's happening. You will remember on the last show that I said 30 days from now is probably going to be a pretty boring update because, frankly, the way this process works
Just started.
It's very unlikely to have any changes within the first 30 days. And I don't want to say I'm a genius, but I was dead right. We have very little updates today. So today, instead of just talking about the updates, because there's not a lot to say, although we're full transparency, I'll tell you exactly what's going on. Instead, we're going to talk a little bit about credit repair horror stories. Credit repair horror stories. We're going to share ours. And I want to do just a blanket invitation to anybody who's on right now. And I see we've got Brett, Marcy, anybody else who is on. I put your name in the box. I'd love to see who's on, even if you're not going to talk. But if you know someone who's gone through credit repair, or perhaps you went through credit repair, or if it's you, feel free to call in and say, I know a guy. I got a friend who went through credit repair, and it's okay if you lie about who it actually was. But if you have a credit repair horror story, we want to hear about it. Feel free, you can actually call in. The number is 949-777-6385. Maybe if Darren gets a chance, he can actually type it into the comment box as well after we go off this slide. But it's 949-777-6385. You'll get Jessica, and she'll put you in a queue and wave to us. And if we can ever shut up for a second, we will get you on the phone, and you can tell everybody exactly what's wrong with credit repair that's happened in the past. Frank, I see Frank on there. Frank, I know you've dealt with a lot of people who've gone through credit repair. I'm sure some of the people have had a bad experience. All right, I got Mark and Steve. Hello, Mark and Steve. Welcome to the show. I'm glad for everybody who comes on. So anyway, we'll move on and we'll start sharing our stories, but I would love to hear yours live. That's what a live show is all about, and that is call the number 949-777-6385. Manny, hello. Welcome to the show. And tell us your credit repair horror stories.
Okay,
well, let's get the ball started.
I'll start with my horror
story. Trey loves credit repair.
I love it.
That's well, we started there, right?
All right, so many years ago when I first started doing this, we also had credit repair services. This is like 2008 or so forth. But one of the things that I experienced where we added authorized user accounts to someone's credit report.
What is that? Why would you add an authorized user account? What is it? What does it do?
So it's giving access, adding another account of someone else's credit onto your credit profile to help you boost your scores, maybe qualify for certain programs, funding, or buying a car. And so they're actually paying for this. And so I had a couple clients who get authorized users added to the credit report, and then everything's fine, but then 3 months later, the person who owned the credit went derogatory. So now...
Yeah, so what it is like I have crummy credit and you have good credit.
Right.
And you have a credit card you've had for 20 years, $20,000 limit with no balance.
Sure.
Right? And you add me as an authorized user on that account with the goal of making me look like I've got this amazing credit card. And so you referred people for that service.
We had that service in place. And so this was different back in the day where you could boost like your child's credit or your spouse's credit by adding as an authorized user. But When
So it sounds like a solution. So what's the horror story?
the horror story is the person who owned the credit fell behind on their payments. So now they have
nice.
a 30-day late or 60-day late. Now reflects onto the client's report.
Right.
So that was
and people pay a lot of money for that.
a lot of money.
service, right?
And so now when I hear people who have signed up to our agent platform and they talk about authorized users, it makes me cringe, because that's just something that's not going to be a verifiable benefit to these individuals.
Right. When we came to launch our partnership with CredNext, the first thing that I had to do was try to get Trey to agree to it, which is no small feat, because we as a company made a commitment a long time ago that we would stop referring to credit repair. So we'll talk about that a little bit. I see some other people coming on, Joe Lewis, I see Frank. Now, Frank says right there, all of his guys got done, even bankruptcies and foreclosures. And I don't know what to say to that, because I've never seen a credit repair company with a 100% success rate. I call BS.
Well,
I'll be honest, man. There's no way that that's true if you've been referring for 15, 20 years, that every single person got complete, because the person can mess it up, right? It's not even necessarily the credit repair company's fault. The people who have a history of making mistakes keep making mistakes throughout the whole process, and some people will just never get better because they're messing up their own lives through the process. When I first got into this game about 10 years ago, credit repair companies that I was seeing were often lawyers, and they were charging up to $5,000 for the service. Literally $5,000. This is how things got a little dicey. People will get referred over for a service, they'd pay $5,000 up front, and then maybe they get some results. Usually they had some very unrealistic expectations what's going to happen, because frankly, if I pay $5,000 for something, and this is 10 years ago, I'm expecting something amazing, like a limo to show up,
correct,
and deliver me to the land of perfect credit.
So one of the things I think there are some services out there like Bob Tar that can work, but what happens is when they stop working, that person comes back to you, and
yeah, I mean,
that's the fear.
Our understanding is that Bob's service, CredNext, is different, and this is why we're doing this public test, so we can show you exactly what's happening, right? But when we started, it was $5,000, and the prices started to come down. What I tended to see was people would come in and very quickly get a big boost. Something good would happen after the first 45-day mark, which is about when you start seeing your first results. And often is maybe half of their problems get wiped away right at the beginning, and then the rest would sort of linger forever. And at some point, the client would start getting mad or complaining about a monthly fee, and then it would get ugly. Like Lexington Law, pretty much the #1 provider in the space. You know, I've heard of people that have been with them for 18 months, and they keep paying because they keep thinking some miracle's going to happen, and when it doesn't happen, they blame Lexington Law. You know, I don't know. There's only so much they can do, right? Another thing that we've seen, one of the big problems I saw was every single person who had a credit repair service that came to talk to us would all say the exact same thing. My service is amazing. It's the best thing in the world. It can remove anything. Send me everybody, and nothing will ever go wrong. That's what it started as. And then we would send people. They wouldn't remove everything. People would be mad. And then at some point, they'd stop answering the phones. They're just, right?
Right.
Do you remember that we had one lady we referred to who it was working, and then it stopped, and she just stopped answering the phones?
In the early stages of our old company,
People
Finance
love that.
Store, we had some relationships. We referred a good amount of business. We had a company in Texas in around 2010, 2011. We referred a good amount of clients. And for us, our true clients are in the Frake Alios of the world, our relationships. And that's who we want to protect. But this one company in Texas stopped communicating. We had sent over 50 people for their service, and
they just stopped?
Stopped. It was a black
But
hole.
the billing kept going on.
Billing kept going.
Billing magically continued. But, you know, over the years, I've seen it go from $5,000 to get started to $1,000 to get started. That company in Texas was about $600 or $700 and some sort of a monthly fee. But now they pass a lot of laws that really regulate the cost, so the cost is lower, which is good. It really protects you as the customers. You can watch and see if things are improving. And so that's, you know, credit report correction is different than credit repair, and we're really hoping it's different. So anyway, all right, moving on. Darren, let's keep going here. Finally, for us, the final straw, the last thing that broke Trey's back. Why don't you tell that story? What happened with that lady?
Okay, I'll go over the example, which would be had a lead, was trying to help her get funding for a movie project. She was out of Vegas nice Russian woman, and she had a bankruptcy. So we referred her over to our so-called relation for credit repair at that point in time, and nothing ever happened. And so this particular individual came back to me and held myself and finance store responsible. So that's just something I wanted at that point in time to have nothing to do with. And so over the years,
I think this lady was one that we sent to the woman who just stopped answering the phone,
correct,
right?
Correct.
So she came in. What do you remember? What the down payment was back
$500.
then? $500
right.
and some monthly fee. But then the provider just stopped answering the phone. The client got more and more angry, started threatening you.
So we feel helpless when they're across the country. You know, the one good thing about Bob Tarr and his CredNext, they're here. We can actually meet with them in our offices, face to face, and that's why everything we're talking about is we're kind of easing into this because, again, Tim keeps saying I'm very skeptical. I don't trust people when it comes to this, and
right.
so it could work, but then it goes sideways really quickly. That's my fear.
Yeah, I mean, this lady threatened you with. She was going to blackmail us on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Here we are on YouTube. She said, I have 100,000 followers on YouTube. I'm going to bash finance. And we weren't making money for the referrals. We were just trying to help people. So at that point we said, no more. That was years ago.
Years ago.
And we haven't done it until now. So now this is a big leap for us. We believe it's going to be different. And so that's partially why we're doing this process where we show you exactly what's happening. All right, so here's your progress update for the 10 volunteers. I'm just going to put the whole darn thing on the board because it is pretty simple. Starts at the top.
The clock.
No change, no change, no change, no change, no change. Why is there no change after 30 days in the system?
I'll say why.
Tell me why.
Let's take Tupac Shakur. It took years of developing these issues on the credit report. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be fixed in 1 month. So Bob and his team, they're formalizing a game plan, making sure they do it the right way the first time around from what we've seen. So really not going to expect anything the first 30 days of this process. It's more going to be 45, 60 days down the road.
Yeah, now there's a specific reason why it's basically impossible for a change to happen in the first 30 days. This is something I mentioned on the last show, and I'll just bring it up again. The way it works is you sign up, and then Bob and his team review your situation, and they decide which things need to be disputed, and they submit a dispute. The credit reporting agencies then send that dispute through to whoever reported it. So, for example, your Experian, the credit reporting agency, they get this dispute request, and then Experian sends a notification to Bank of America to say, hey, prove whether or not this is supposed to be there. And there is allowed 30 days. They are allowed 30 days to respond, and every agency takes the absolute maximum amount of time to respond. So that means you sign up, if they start, even if they did their disputes the next day, there's not enough time for there to be an impact. So if Bank of America then says, fine, I don't have proof, you can go ahead and let it go. Then it goes to the Experience reporting cycle. It's 45 days at a minimum before anything happens. So it's basically impossible. But we still want to do our 30 days.
Let
so
alone
we can
it's December,
stick with
right?
It.
December is one of the most unusual months for us,
right?
And in the Postal Service. So
yeah, people are closing shop, and but the 30 days is still there, regardless of whatever month it is. So nothing's going to happen in the first 30 days. I expect to see a lot happening by the next 30 days. Now, somebody's asking, why is every name someone famous? That's because
our clients are great. We have
a high-class clientele. High class. No, just to be clear, Taylor Lautner from the Wolf movies, Vampire, what is it? Twilight series is not our actual client. The people that agreed to allow us to report their scores didn't necessarily want us to say their names. So we created pseudonyms, but the information is real. We're just protecting the identity of our volunteers. Our volunteers were willing to volunteer as long as we didn't say exactly who they were and put their phone number and address or whatever else. So Tim MC, that's me, so that's a real one. Everybody else, they're all real people, but they asked to maintain their anonymity through the process. All right, so moving on, that's our process. That's what's going on right now. That's the 30-day update. Feel free to come in and take your own CredNext challenge at any point. You can go to crednext.com, fill in your information. You can do your own 6-month trial and see how it compares to us. If you're thinking about doing it, you know right now that nothing's going to happen in the first 30 days. And I see other people are coming on and promoting their service. And that's great. There's a lot of different services out there, but we're going to show you exactly what happens with CredNext as we go through the process. Darren, if you could keep going. All right, here's a shot of the page. If you just go to crednext.com, you can fill out the form. It's pretty darn simple. Next. And that's it. Next week, we're going to be doing our thank you episode. Next week is the first episode of 2018, and it's our thank you. We're going to do thank you to all the people that worked with us in 2017. We're going to be recapping what happened, talking about different member offices that are doing exciting things. If you're one of our member offices, come on, but because probably we're going to be saying thank you to you.
Well, Frank mentions the Better Business Bureau, A-rated, and that's a whole other topic we can go after at some point in time. Same level as credit repair with me, so there we go. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, well, for a long time, the Better Business Bureau was automatically giving an F rating to every credit repair company, so it actually means something to have a good rating. I mean, it means something. It means you bribed the right person, or who knows, I don't know. The BBB is a weird entity. We've learned a lot over the years that it's just weird, right?
Yes.
We do have one person, Manny, who is saying he paid for months and months, a little over $200 a month, and not once did it make any difference. All right, so that's the kind of things that we hear. The horror stories that we've heard are, I paid forever and nothing happened. Nobody would call me. They said they would. They promised me I would get my bankruptcy removed, and it didn't happen. That's the biggest one. And by the way, there's two sides to disasters for credit repair. One side is, overly aggressive salespeople promising things they can't actually do, or they don't know. These companies don't have the control to directly change something. They can only try to get somebody else to change it. There's going to be times when they fail, so they can't do everything, right? On the other side of it, some people have unrealistic expectations. When you hear Bob on our show say something like, anything that can be put onto a credit report can be taken off of a credit report, that is 100% true. But it's also a little misleading. It doesn't mean that every single thing will be removed, even though you want it to be removed. And so on the client side, you got to understand that, right? That statement is 100% true. Anything can be put on, can be taken off. But it doesn't mean everything's going to be taken off. You got to know that. You got to know that it's a back and forth. And if you're having new problems, new late payments, new collections pop up during the process, it's going to make it real hard to complete that process successfully. Or you might see a lot of success on one bureau. Experian might end up at an 800, and you might still have a 500 on Equifax, right? These things happen. They're each different companies. That's why there are 3 reporting agencies.
So the reason why I signed off on this, Tim, is we want to help people as much as possible, right? So don't be stubborn. We vetted Bob and CredNext
extensively.
So one of the things where we have our relationships, we want to provide as many benefits and solutions as possible.
And this is part of the vetting process. Right. You're going to agree to do a full public trial for 6 months. So, right? And honestly, at $100 a month, I think it is well worth the investment. If you just get one thing improved on your credit report, it might have a big improvement. Now, Steve's pointing out that the CredNext website doesn't have any information. You're not able to sign up on it, and that is intentional. It's simply a lead form. Everything that happens is going to be an interaction with the company. Nobody's going to sign up without talking to somebody. We're not trying to get you to sign up without talking to somebody. So
this is for past. Yeah, we're definitely not trying to sign people up for credit repair or credit correction at this point in time. It's more about transparency, like Tim mentioned, and go over our process. So full disclosure.
All right, awesome. So thank you for coming on our show. If you don't know where our show is, at youtube.com/finance agents. That's where you can find us. Definitely come back next week for our thank you episode where we talk about all the amazing things that happened in 2017, and we set a roadmap for all the incredible stuff that we think is going to happen this next year. We have new partnerships lined up, new opportunities, new tools, new resources. Trey, thank you for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
And thank you to all of you. I look forward to giving you a real big, full-on thank you next week in the brand new year. Happy New Year's, everybody. New Year. And we'll see you in 2018.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right,
look forward to doing a lot more deals together.